Hello and welcome to Organic Edible Garden. It's cold and wet outside, so it's a good opportunity to spend some time in the kitchen. And today we're going to make some curry powder. My mother was Dutch Indonesian and I grew up on a lot of spices, so I'm really passionate about making my own. The basis of any curry powder has three main ingredients. We've got our coriander seeds, our cumin seeds, our turmeric. And curries are made in all different parts of the world and they use different ingredients in them. But for my one, I use ginger powder, I use some bay leaves, some good hot chilli, we use some cloves, some fenugreek, some black pepper, some cardamom, and some cinnamon. The difference between a herb and a spice is simply location. So where we are, we can grow our own coriander seeds easily. We can also do our own bay and chilli. But the rest of these are really hot weather spices, so we have to buy them in. The powders have been dried, but now our seeds have to be dry roasted. So we're just going to use some heavy bay skillets and use it without oil. Once our pans get nice and hot, we turn them down and we can start adding the spices. So we'll start with our coriander seeds and our cumin seeds. And it's important that they don't burn, so we want to keep moving them all the time. What I generally do is I feel the seeds, and if they're hot and they've got moisture coming from them, I know they're releasing the oils. It probably only takes about sort of 4 to 5 minutes. You can really smell those sort of oils coming through as well. They're feeling hot and the moisture's coming from them, so it's time to take them off. So I'm going to put them in a metal bowl just to start cooling down. Now it's important that the coriander and the turmeric and the cumin are in equal portions, but the other spices we put in now, we can put in moderation. So we're going to throw in some bay leaves. And we're going to throw in a few cloves, not too many because they can be a bit bitter. We'll throw in some black pepper. The reason we do black pepper, there's an element in it that when it mixes with your turmeric, you're able to absorb it a lot better. So whenever we're using the turmeric, we put the peppercorns together. We can also put a bit of cardamom into that and some fenugreek. And we'll just keep moving them. These are nearly done now, so they'll go in the same container with these guys. Then I'm going to get my cinnamon quills and I'm going to roast them off too. But because they're quite large, I want to crush them down first. And I do that using a mortar and pestle. The smell from that cinnamon is incredible. In about 3 or 4 minutes, you'll know they're done. They become a lot more brittle. We'll mix them in with the others now. The next thing we're going to use is a grinder. This is a spice grinder, but any coffee grinder will do okay. And if you don't have that, you've got a mortar and pestle will do it as well. It's just a little bit more work. So we're going to do a little bit at a time and then we're going to sieve it. Whatever doesn't go through, you can just put back once more in the spice grinder. And give it one more blast. We've got all of our spices now well ground up. And if we don't put turmeric into it, it becomes a garam masala. But we're going to add that amount of turmeric to it to make it a third of the other ingredients. And this will change the colour of your curry powder. We'll mix them together. We'll add a bit of ginger to it as well. And finally the chilli. Now depending on how hot you like, you can put as much or little in as you like. This is quite a hot chilli, but if you don't like heat at all, just leave it out completely. And we'll mix those through together. I like to use glass jars with a good seal on the lid to keep the flavour in. It's just now a matter of spooning it into the jars. And when we store it, we make sure we store it out of sunlight. Now that we've made our curry powder, it's really easy to make it into a curry. You can use anything from fish or meat, but today we're just going to use what we've got on hand. We've got some pumpkin which we've been storing and have lightly steamed. We've got our beans which we preserved in late summer, and the cauliflower that's growing in the garden. Now I like a bit of extra crunch with that, so I usually add some chickpeas, but in this case we're going to add some probably cashew nuts. Now the basis of any curry is to have a good shallot or onion to start with, so we'll chop those up. It's best to get them chopped up as fine as possible. You can also add a bit of garlic if you like the garlic flavour with it as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab our saucepan which made the spice in, turn it on again, and add a bit of coconut oil. This also gives it a really nice flavour. We'll add the shallots and soften them first. Now that my shallots are frying, I'm just going to add an onion as well. Traditionally now, I'd add a little bit of sugar to the onions. This helps caramelise them quicker. In this case, I'm just adding a bit of coconut sugar to it. Now the onions are colouring up and becoming soft, I'm going to add some curry powder. And for a dish, it's usually about a teaspoon per person, so I'm going to add 3 teaspoons in this. If you like a stronger curry, you can always add more. And it's important now that we fry this curry powder off for a while. It's hard to see, but the smell from this is incredible now. And now that it's done, we can add sort of the crunchy cauliflower to it. And our frozen beans, which we'll defrost when we're putting them in. And we can even add our coconut cream now. If you're buying a coconut cream, I think it's always good to buy one that's organic, that doesn't have the separation chemical in it. So you're going to get its natural separation. At the top will be the cream and underneath will be the water. And we'll let it settle down and we'll let it simmer for a while. The pumpkin's already been pre-softened, so I don't want to add that now. What we will add is a bit of soy sauce to give it some saltiness. Now that the cauliflower is softened more, we can add our pumpkin. This only has to be cooked through about 2 minutes. And at the same time, we can even add our cashews. Now when it's cooking, you can just taste and see if you need more soy sauce. And we generally add a lime juice or lemon juice to it. This acidity will cut through any of the fat. We'll let it cook for another 2 minutes and then it's ready to eat. Now that everything's cooked, we can put in a bowl ready for serving. And finally, we're just going to garnish it with a bit of coriander.